So breaking news has just emerged that Aribo has signed for Southampton from Rangers. But before we dive into this transfer and do a bit of analysis and a reaction, please do smash the like button and do subscribe. Honestly, it helps more than you can imagine, and leave a comment with your thoughts on the transfer. But where do I start? This is an amazing signing for Southampton. I tell you now, I've been watching this guy since he was at Charlton, and then at Rangers, he has flourished. He has excelled. A lot of people question whether he'd be able to make that step up to Rangers, and I tell you now, he has done. He's been ever present in the side, especially with Steven Gerrard and then with Van Bronckhorst. In 57 games, he's got 9 goals and 10 assists. He's a great player and an ever-present figure, like a figurehead, part of that real good spine of Rangers last season. You saw it specifically in the Europa League when he was integral, and the best part about him, he can kind of operate as a bit of a utility man. His primary position is kind of in the number 10 as a central attacking midfielder, but then he can move out wide. We've seen that in the Europa League. Obviously, that's not his best position, but he can do that. And also, you saw Van Bronckhorst towards the end of the season with an injury crisis. He developed into a number 9, and you saw him scoring in the final, in the Europa League final, and it was a good finish against Frankfurt. He's a very, very good, technically gifted, left-footed player who can drive with speed and power. He's agile, but my favourite part about him is the way he moves on the ball. He can take the ball in any situation and drives with the ball, and you don't see many players like that. The confidence, and when he drives, he brings players out of positions, can bring other players into the game. He's a very, very good creative player, and just simply, he's just so good on the ball, with especially driving with it. I've not seen a player like it, a player that I said a while back on videos when I was doing Rangers analysis and reactions, he's a player that would easily flourish in the Premier League, a player that could play at an extremely high level. I honestly think he will go higher than Southampton. I think he'll move on after this. I think it's a really, really good signing. Obviously, there's around about a £10 million release clause. Southampton have activated this with sell-ons and everything. It will exceed 10 million. Reports suggesting that there's a sell-on clause in there, but I don't really know the full details yet. That hasn't really been released, but it's a really good signing. I do worry for Rangers. They do really need to invest now, because this is a huge player for them, so it's going to be interesting to see who they're replacing with. But Southampton, they've got a great player in him. He can, as I said, he can operate in so many different positions, and I think last season they were crying out for a creative midfielder. Obviously, they'd had James Ward-Prowse, who was a bit more deep, but they didn't have somebody in that number 10 position who can operate in that final third link up, because a lot of times you saw Shea Adams and Adam Armstrong playing, and there was no one really linking up with them. Sometimes Stuart Armstrong does, and Nathan Redmond, but they needed somebody who could just create something, add that bit of spark, because that's something that Southampton were really missing last season. They didn't really have anyone who would really create chances other than James Ward-Prowse from really set pieces. I'm being harsh there on Southampton, but they were crying out for a creative player, and they've got him in Aribo, a really, really good signing. I'm really excited to see him in the Premier League. I think he's going to flourish. Rangers fans, are you gutted to see him go? I can imagine you are, because he's a great player. Southampton fans, are you excited? Because I would be if I was you. A really, really good player. It's going to be interesting to see how he fits into this Ralph Hasenhüttl side. And another thing, I do think he'll really suit the pressing style of play, because you've seen him do that at Rangers. He can press really high. He's got energy for days, and he's just a great player, a really well-gifted, well-rounded player who's going to flourish in the Premier League. But let me know your thoughts. As I said before, please do smash the like button and do subscribe if you're new to the channel. Honestly, it helps me more than I can imagine. Thanks for watching, but BucketHatSam over and out. Thank you. Goodbye.